Chair, you're live.
Wonderful, thank you. Good afternoon, I'm Chair Katie Cornell, and I would like to welcome you to the November 18th, 2021 Public Art and Cultural Commission meeting. The Public Art and Cultural Commission, originally called the Public Art Board, was established by Asheville City Council in 2000. This 9-member commission serves as an advisory board to the city on matters concerning art in public spaces. The commission is responsible for promoting public art in the city, overseeing the city's public art projects, and ensuring the art displays in public buildings and public spaces in the city of Asheville are properly maintained. All committee members and staff are participating virtually. We appreciate your patience as we work through committee meetings a bit differently. We're streaming live on our Virtual Engagement Hub, which is accessible through the Virtual Engagement Hub link on the front page of the city website, also linked on the committee page. We also have an option for the public to listen in live by phone by calling 855-925-2801. You can send public comments to pq7488@publicinput.com. You can find this address on the committee page at the top of the meeting agenda. For those of you out there today with us, welcome. I will now go through and introduce all the committee members who are participating virtually. Committee members, please make sure to mute your microphone when you're not speaking. When you have a question or would like to speak, unmute your microphone. Please remember to mute your microphone again when you're done speaking. Committee members, as I call your name, please say a quick hello. Shirley Whitesides.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Shirley. Allie McGee. Oh, Allie said she couldn't make it. Andrew Fletcher. Pete Perez.
Hello.
Joanna Haggerty.
Hi there.
Jasmine Washington.
Hi.
Reggie Tidwell. Marcia Almodóvar. Reggie, we're doing a roll call. Hello, if you want to just say hi real quick to acknowledge you're here.
Hey, hello.
Marcia, you want to say hi real quick? I couldn't hear you, Marcia, but I know you're there.
Marsha's muted still.
I'm sorry, I'm having internet issues. Hi. Oh.
Wonderful. Thanks, everybody. To help our audience follow along, I'll state each section of the agenda aloud and do a vocal roll call for each item that we vote on. Okay, so now we can move on with administrative items. And the first item on our agenda is to set a retreat date. Our annual report is due at the end of January. So we need to have an annual retreat. We're thinking like the first, maybe second week of January that we'll do that. So that would be in place of our meeting that month, replace our meeting that month. There is a link in your agenda to last year's annual report where we laid out our strategic priorities for 2021. Some of those priorities we worked on and some we were not able to. So we need to review that list again, find out what order we'd like to put those items in, what still needs to be addressed, what we need to add to the list. So we'll be sending a doodle poll out to figure out what date and time works best for everybody. That should be probably a 2 to 3 hour long meeting, right, Steph? Yeah. So just please, when that comes to you, please respond so we can get that on everybody's calendars. Any questions about that before we move on? Okay. The next item on our agenda is presentation for discussion on the Pack Square Improvement Project. So I'll hand it over to Steph.
Hey, thanks, Chair Cornell. Hi, everybody, and welcome. Especially, I guess I would say Shirley, right? Shirley was a member of the Vance Monument Task Force. And today we're going to talk about a project that really is a direct outcome of recommendations that came from the Vance Monument Task Force. So you may remember that last March, City Council adopted a resolution to remove the Vance Monument that came on the heels of a recommendation from the Vance Monument Task Force that met all of the following fall before, and that was a joint city-county task force, something kind of unique and interesting in our community. And that really, that effort was spurred on by the onset of the twin pandemics, and specifically the murder of George Floyd, and some communications that happened between members of City Council and the County Commission and other interest groups. So as part of that, we are really looking to take the next step in partnership with Buncombe County again. And that looks like creating a vision plan for how to make a more inclusive Pack Square. So I'm going to
I am not taking over, but I will try to get Steph back on. There she is.
So I'm going to try to share a presentation.
You're
Steph, you're
muted.
muted.
Steph.
I'm going to try to share a presentation. Let me get all this going now. Sorry, guys. I'm going to try to... Yeah. Great. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we're going to do together. So here we go. There it is. That was the monument, the 60, 70-foot tall obelisk that sat at the gateway of the western gateway of pretty much our downtown living room, surely our central public square, and our central park in the community as well. We started removing that monument last May, and just as a reminder, there is a legal case pending that we're waiting on a decision for that is going to allow us to remove the rest of the monument, we assume. But we are going to move ahead with community engagement and visioning for more inclusive Pack Square, even while that is being decided. So just a couple of things to think about. Here, north is up. Here is in the red circle that monument. It's a really small area. It's only 900 square feet. But when we started talking with a lot of different members of the community, and we actually listened to the recommendations from the Vance Monument Task Force, they pointed out a couple things. One from the Vance Monument Task Force was, does this space really need to act more like a square to be more inclusive? So for instance, do we really need the northern part of Pack Square, which, as you can see, is used mostly for, a few parking spaces. And a lot of times we successfully close that area down and provide a lot of special event programming that the community really enjoys. So a lot of different questions started coming up. People started thinking outside of just the plinth of this monument itself, started thinking about how people actually would get to that area, and notice that there's a lot of crossings that have to happen for people to enjoy it. And maybe thinking about expanding just that western gateway and thinking about whether or not, is it accessible for people if you have mobility issues? Is this a place that you want to be? Don't forget that this is the site of many of our everyday and special occasion protests and demonstrations. We started thinking about a lot of different design issues that exist here with regards to inclusivity and just ways to make things better that would show a lot more public benefit from this place. And the ones that you can read through those, the ones I really want you to look at are number 5 and number 6. one is, reconsidering how we have so many pieces of public art in this area, and we're not exactly sure if these are the pieces of public art that make sense together, that make people feel like they are welcomed. Are they telling our story through a narrative that is inclusive of everyone's narrative, or is it being seen through one special lens? So that is part of what we will be doing with this larger process to create a vision, is a lot of research and analysis of what is already here. And when I say we, I mean the Public Art and Cultural Commission, because this is a much larger project, but you all will have a specific role when it comes to looking at the public art in the area. There's also number 6 is like a long-term plan for the Black Lives Matter mural. That's something that right now, while we worked, the city council commissioned that with the Arts Council and 19 artists. Right now, we are just leaving it as is because we figure that this process can help us figure out what needs to come next. So there's a lot of other different interesting things for us to think about in this, including telling a story about place. So we all know that this is the heart of our downtown, and we have some stories that are being told here, and we have some that are not. So I just threw out a few here that we know exist that maybe you're being told. Like number 1 is told, and through the second marker of the urban trail, Crossroads. That's the turkey pig markers that everybody enjoys playing with. But this is really, is the story really being told, or are we just enjoying those markers? So many different stories for us to think about when it comes to public art, expressions of culture in the area. And I wanted to drill down here and talk about PAC. So PAC has some general rules, and your chair alluded to them at the beginning of this meeting. So it's important that I'm not going to read through all of these, but I hope that you read them and anyone watching them reads them. This is just one slide. There's actually a whole other slide of things that you have in your purview. And everyone, I'll go back to the beginning. Every one of these has some kind of connection to this project, this process that we'll be going out with community, and determining like how this place will function for us moving forward and how those stories are being told. So something for you guys to think about, and specifically, okay, that is supposed to say staff work with Buncombe County on RFP, by the way. Something for you guys to think about is, how much does the entire Public Art and Cultural Commission want to be involved in taking a look at the public art and modes of expression that are used here to express memory and narrative? And or is it something we want to do the way that we normally do a public art project, which is we create a small subcommittee? And we have created a small subcommittee, and they could either serve as that one subcommittee that focuses on these items, or they might serve as a core team, and the whole entire Public Art and Cultural Commission might have a larger piece of involvement. One of the first things that I want this core team or small group to help me and others with is putting out a call for temporary works of art, history, and culture. So I would like to get some conversation going with you all in a small group, so that we might bring in the Friends of Buncombe County Special Collection to do a pilot temporary work in Pack Square that will kind of act as a way to not only activate the area, but activate people's thought patterns about the area, and almost serve as a calling card for a longer temporary work of art, history, and culture call that we would have out for probably 6 to, we would probably institute it for over 6 to 9 months while we're doing this larger project. And so, to be clear, to connect the dots here, the larger project, the result of that larger project, or the outcome of the larger project, is going to be it's going to be a vision document that talks about all parts of that, not entire park, but just that central Pack Square area, and how it could become more accessible for people with mobility issues, sight issues, the LGBTQ community, people of color, people who don't speak English as a first language. A lot of considerations in here. And you all have a really, really critical, important role that sort of, I would say, and Shirley, I might look to her to, how you feel about this, but like it sort of continues the crux of what the Vance Monument Task Force really set out to examine in the first place, and that is about how we tell stories and what kind of monuments and memorials we put in public places. I am looking for some feedback on people's interest in being involved in this from a larger commission perspective, and also that core team or subcommittee perspective. And then so folks know right now, the subcommittee consists of Jazz, Reggie,
and Pete.
and Pete. I'm like looking at the names and going, who. That's the committee right now.
So there's currently a core committee and you're just looking for like overall commitment. I think it depends on, yes, and like what the capacity is, like what's the expectation and timeline and commitment.
I'm interested in serving on the committee. When the Vance Monument Committee met, we had a great relationship. We were able to tell the truth, whether it hurt or not. And I'm very concerned as an educator, a grandparent, and a citizen of Buncombe County to have input in and working in the community. I've been in Asheville over 50 years. And if there's a problem, the way you solve it, you work to help correct it. And I'm open-hearted and would like to see it through. And I'm living with a historian, and a lot of the history that they're talking about, a lot of the members are members of my church in the community. And I think I can help. I'm willing to. And to go through that committee and take the heat, I'm willing to do anything to finish it through, if it's possible.
Right. I just want to say that's what I'm looking for, is whether or not people have a personal interest and they might be willing to do something. And I know that Shirley, she already knew how and where she could help. So it's something that all of you can think about moving forward. That would be great.
I think the discussions that are going to be had around this space are going to really inform how public art should be handled in the city moving forward. And so if, whether we're active participants, we should be active listeners through this whole process, and really keep our ears open, because a new public art master plan has been on our to-do list for several years. And one of the things that we've put as a top priority. So I think one of the things that I heard loud and clear when I got feedback from the group last time is concern about moving forward with the master plan without having these larger discussions first. And so these discussions are getting ready to happen, and we need to be sure to be at the table listening, if not more, to what's happening.
I'm happy to, I'm deeply interested in this project, and I'm very happy to see that there's resources and momentum behind this. As far as being on the core group, I'm happy to sort of advise on some special issues that I have some expertise on, how, for instance, how whatever work is going to influence busking and performing art downtown, just to make sure that we're anticipating those types of uses. I think I can be helpful on that, but don't think I need to be in the ground floor of all those discussions. But I would ask that you bring me in, and when you're ready to talk about how things are going to interact with busking and performance downtown. But I really like the like those eight circles that you had that identified opportunities out of problems, and I really like that. I think functionally, Pack Square is far from what we could have, and I think that all parts of the city tell a story. But I think narratively, the center of our city is the most powerful place to tell those stories. And obviously, narratively, we have not been telling a very good story with Pack Square. And so, any support I can help on those things, I'm happy to assist with.
Anyone else have comment?
Yeah, I'm interested in the components surrounding like the language justice piece and having more input in different languages and having things translated, whether it's online or, at the markers themselves. I think that would make for like visually more inclusive space.
Okay, well, thank you. Stay tuned. I'll let you know when we have worked with the county to release requests for proposals, and we'll be hiring a co-project manager who'll be working with the county and the city to make all these things happen. And we hope that another piece of that is that we hope to use a lot of local talent, including artists, but other folks in our community as well, to do a lot of the convening, community engagement, facilitation around this square.
Okay. Awesome. So we are at our updates portion of our meeting. And the first update I just wanted to share with you guys, this week is International Living Wage Week. And so I wanted to bring to your attention that the Arts Council has just released Buncombe County Creative Sector Earnings Report. And this is up on our website. So if you go to ashevillearts.com/earnings, you can get a copy of this report. And what we found in the report is creative wages on average are 14% lower than state averages and 22% lower than national averages. And we have 6 core arts occupations that fall under the living wage. This is the 2020 living wage of $15.50 an hour. In 2021, Just Economics reported the living wages actually jumped up to $17.30. So there's probably more creative occupations that are falling under living wage. But if you go to our website, we also have a comparison table where you can look at all 71 what we've identified as creative occupations and compare Buncombe County wages to state and national averages. So in honor of International Living Wage Week, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Did you want to say something, Andrew?
Katie, I have a question about that. Does that report examine how wage differences between creative and non-creative industries, so we can get a sense of whether are we falling behind the other occupations, or are we ahead of the other occupations, or
It does not. This just looks at the comparison is between the state and national. I will tell you. That's a great question, though. Yeah. Well, so I know the chamber is looking at getting software to do more kind of reporting like this. So I think it's on the horizon. And definitely this is top of everybody's mind.
Yeah, those numbers track with some, roughly track with some differences in wages for bachelor's degree holders that I've seen in city publications. I think probably from that same data set, a little older, but still we're dealing with the same discrepancies, for even well-educated folks in our community. And I think it would be really interesting to see to compare the creative sector versus other sectors as far as are we doing better or worse. I think that'd be helpful.
Yeah, what's challenging is the creative sector goes across 8 super sectors. So creative manufacturing, creative trade, independent contractors. So we're just not all in like leisure and hospitality, which is why it makes it hard to do those kind of comparisons. But I'm sure Heidi can figure it out because she's amazing. All right, so a little off topic. So the next thing on the agenda is to let you guys know that Explore Asheville is currently taking applications for the African American Heritage Trail Advisory Committee. So this will be a series of 4 meetings. Each meeting is an hour and a half long, taking place between January and December of 2022. If you're interested, go to Explore Asheville's website to apply. Applications are due by December 10th. So now I'm going to hand it back over to Steph to talk about the African American Heritage Commission Memorial Project.
Way back. So some of you were not on the commission, but those of you that were, you'll remember that in January 2020, right? Right before the pandemic hit, at our retreat, the commission passed a resolution to support the provision of $10,000 of public art funds to the African American Heritage Commission for the purpose of providing support, research, engagement, outreach that would ultimately help create a memorial or piece of public art or cultural expression that was specific to the African American experience here in Asheville. So because the pandemic hit, pretty much any movement on that project slowed down, if not completely stalled. They have a new body convening as well, new members, new chair and vice chair. And so Katie and I are going to go to their December 9th meeting and give them a short presentation to let them know that that money still exists. We want to make sure that you still know that it is money that comes from our annual general fund allotment that supports maintenance and other engagement and programming for public art. So when I give you at your retreat, I'm going to give you an update about all the ways that money has been spent or will be spent moving forward. This is something that will not be a surprise to you. You'll remember it. And we ask if you are interested, you can tune into that meeting. And hopefully we'll be asking them to get together with you all or come to a meeting or have a joint meeting, perhaps to brainstorm and just share what's going on in the community and see if we can identify some opportunities and continue to assist with any of that. Obviously, what we were just talking about with Pack Square and the African American Heritage Trail fit right into some of this. So that's that. I'll move along on some of these if that's all right, Chair. Okay. Wanted to let you know that we have made an offer, and that offer has been accepted by someone who is going to act as our urban designer and public arts specialist. So that's really exciting. Yay. Thank you, Andrew. And so this person will spend 50% of their time managing public art projects and will be shadowing me for several months to work with you all in the Public Art and Cultural Commission, and we'll see where that takes them. They have not, I do not know if they have given notice to their current job yet, and that's why I'm not saying who they are, but this person will be starting in the middle of December, and they are very talented, and they have urban designing is their profession, so they're not a professional artist, but they are an artist. They do a lot of art on their own, so it's a really great fit. Just some updates on some projects that are happening. We're working on public art maintenance. As always, you all probably heard about the childhood statue that had already been vandalized with paint. That was a bronze, and then that was damaged, and we removed the statue from the Pack Square area. We'll be reinstalling it once we remove the paint from her hair and make sure that we have the best type of reinstallation for that area. So similar to the cat, and taking a couple of minutes to just say, how can we put this cat back in a way that no one's going to be able to easily remove the cat? We're doing that with the little girl as well. And Lexington Life column, not the piece of art, but the actual art interpretation also received some damage. And so we are looking at that pole and wondering if maybe we need to create a new type of sign so that it's a little bit more sturdy, because it is right next to the roadway and we anticipate it will continue to get hit. Just the Urban Trail Committee's main focus right now is working with our capital projects department and myself on the reinstallation of the Art Deco masterpiece marker, which commemorates the S&W building. So we do have a site selected for that, and the Urban Trail Committee is going to go out with some of the original donors for that marker, and with capital projects and planning and urban design staff to take a look at the site and make sure we really understand what's possible there in terms of placemaking. So instead of just putting this back in, we are now thinking about how to activate that space on Haywood Street across from Pritchard Park in general, which is kind of fun. And Broadway public safety. It is one of the biggest public art projects that the city actually has on its schedule in the past 5 years. And that is because it's a really significant new city facility. And when you spend a significant amount of money, you end up with a significant amount of 1% for public art funds. So we are looking for a member of PAC to play the advisory role and work with the community on identifying what of the opportunities that they have already kind of come up with in the area for public art, which ones should be pursued, how we release a call for artists, and do something very similar to, I guess Allie's not here, but Joanna and Allie's work with Jake Rusher Park. So if there's anyone that is interested in that, maybe at the end of this meeting, you could raise your hand to Katie and let her know that you'd be willing to do that. And Joanna, I was going to ask you to give us an update on Jake Rusher, if you can.
We were supposed to have a meeting yesterday with the person we chose. I think it was some family stuff. So instead, the process is she's going to send us a video with her outlining the next couple designs. So not a whole lot has happened. I think last meeting we were able to tell you guys that something went out in the ABL today about it. And I know that we'll continue to update that process, but there's not a lot of movement at the moment. And if nobody else really wants to do the fire station, I'll be happy to. So.
Great. Thanks, Joanna. I will go back and just another area that we have a lot of money and projects on the plate is the River Arts District, and that will be the primary focus when we have our new hire. That person will come in and help reconvene that group and get our first project, a call for artists done for our first project in the area. So it'll be wonderful. Does anybody have any other questions about current public art projects or other city investments?
I have a question about our new urban design hire, and that is, do we anticipate that they will be our liaison eventually, or are you sticking with us?
That is TBD. Yeah. So I would love it if this new person, if it in reality that they would be able to establish a great working relationship with you all and have that be a new liaison. In my heart of hearts, I would love for there to be a full-time public art person still, and I would love for that person to be your liaison. So we'll see where the world takes us.
So, is there anybody else interested in the public safety fire station project? All right, Joanna, it looks like that's you. Thank you.
Joanna.
I'm the organizing nerd anyway, so I'm happy to do it.
It's a great, I'll say that the community is really active with the project, and you'll get to work probably with UNCA because it's very close to UNC and on that corridor. I think you'll really enjoy the people.
Yeah, and I had a great time with the Jake Rusher process, so I think this will be a lot of fun. Thanks, y'all.
So you guys will be getting a doodle poll from Steph or myself to set the date for our retreat. If you have any items that you would like to add to the retreat agenda, please let us know. Anything you'd like to be sure to discuss. If there is no other, Steph, do we have any public comment?
Dana?
Almost forgot, sorry.
I'm here, I'm checking 1 second. No, we have no callers in the queue.
Okay, thank you, Dana.
Sure.
Does anybody from the group have any comment before we leave? Okay.
What was the date for the proposed January retreat again?
We haven't suggested a date, so we're going to send a doodle poll with a couple of different, and figure out if you guys would prefer morning or lunch, afternoon. So we'll have a couple of different date options and time options for you so we can figure it out. All right. I will now adjourn the meeting unless there's any objections. So adjourned. Live streaming can go off.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks for
guys.
the updates. Yeah, thanks so much, guys. Thanks for the updates. Nice to see everybody. Take care, buddy.
You too.